Good morning, everyone. This week's Torah portion is Pinchas, and it's the aftermath of the story of Pinchas. The story of Pinchas was he saw that the Jewish men were engaging with the Midianite women, and a particular leader of the tribe of Shimon by the name of Zimri took a Midianite woman, and he went in front of Moses and challenged the leadership of Moses and said, Moses, why is this forbidden for us to take Midianite women? You yourself married a Midianite woman, Zipporah. And in this height of rebellion, Pinchas took a spear and killed Zimri. And no one knew what should be done with Pinchas. Was he a murderer? Or did he restore peace to the camp of Israel? And the opening of this week's Torah portion begins by God saying, Pinchas, the son of Elazar, the grandson of Aaron the high priest, restored the peace amongst the Jewish people through his act of zealotry, and therefore he should be given the covenant, Briti Shalom, the peace award, the covenant of peace. And there's two interesting things about this verse. The first one is that usually the Torah associates someone with their father, but here it goes back a third generation, and it says, Pinchas, the son of Elazar, the grandson of Aaron the high priest. And second of all, when the Torah talks about the covenant of peace, Briti Shalom, the Torah writes the word Shalom with a broken letter Vav. Now normally when a letter is broken in the Torah, it invalidates the letter. But here, the Torah is written deliberately with the letter Vav being a broken letter. The rabbis teach us the following. You know, peace is an ideal that we all strive for in Judaism. Peace, the word shalom, is maybe the one word that is most often quoted throughout the Torah and throughout our prayers. It says the whole Torah was given for the sake of bringing peace and harmony to the world. It says the greatest vessel in the world for all of life's blessings is the blessing of peace. The punchline of all of the priestly blessings is V'yasem lecha shalom. We as Jews crave and desire and pray for peace more than anything else. But sometimes we mistakenly think that peace can only come through appeasement, through being conciliatory. And therefore, Pinchas teaches us that sometimes you don't create peace through appeasement, but rather through strength and even an act of force, as Pinchas brought it about through an act of strength and force. We all know that Chamberlain came back to London in 1938 and said, peace in our times. He had a piece of paper that he signed with Hitler. And that appeasement led to World War II and the invasion of England, as opposed to Churchill, who went to war against Hitler with the armed forces, Allied forces, and defeated evil and defeated Hitler. And therefore it's a mistake to think that violence is a disruption of peace. Violence and aggression is a disruption of peace, but violence, in order to defeat evil, is not a disruption of peace, but it's actually a facilitator of peace. And therefore, before the Torah says the peace award is going to Pinchas, the Torah says, you know who Pinchas was? He was the grandson of Aaron the high priest. Aaron was known as a peacemaker, a lover of peace, and he was like his grandfather, a peacemaker. What he did was against his nature, but he did it out of necessity to restore peace to the Jewish camp. And therefore the Vav of the word Shalom, and the only incident in the Torah where a letter is broken, is to teach us that sometimes you have to break the peace in order to restore and create the peace. And there's no place where this is more evident here than here in the land of Israel. In Israel, we see the way Israel prays and craves for peace and has made so many overtures to live in peace with its neighbors. As Rabbi even famously said, the Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. And after months and months of terror attacks, Israel finally had no choice this week and conducted a massive invasion of Jenin, which is the hotbed for all of these radical terrorists who've been murdering innocent Israelis for months now, claiming dozens of lives. And to uproot and outroot all of this infrastructure of evil, Israel conducted a massive operation. And the world may report on this as David against Goliath against David. But actually Israel is the David and the Arab world is the Goliath. We are a tiny little nation in the midst of a sea of Arabs, and all we want to do is live in peace. And all of our actions are just to restore and create peace amongst Israel in the Israeli society. Tragically, the Jenin operation was very successful, but unfortunately, on the very last day, today, one soldier on the way out fell in this operation, a very elite soldier in the Agoz unit. His name was David Yehuda Yitzchak, and he was from Beth El, and he was murdered. The sacrifice for this restoration of peace in Israel, and to prove his nature, that it was like Aaron the high priest who lived for peace. The residents of Beth El reported that he was a volunteer in what we, like in Palm Beach Synagogue, have Project Connect to help special needs. They have a special program of volunteers who help children with special needs. But even though he went on to the army, he would always come home for Yom Kippur. And every Yom Kippur afternoon, he would go to his child, Yonadav Cohen, 12-year-old boy with special needs, who he volunteered with for many years, who's actually now turning 13 tonight and is celebrating his bar mitzvah tonight. And at the bar mitzvah, they said, we want you to know that on Yom Kippur, every Yom Kippur afternoon, at the break after the services, he would come to the Cohen family and say, let me take Yonadav for a few hours, to spend a few hours with him, because he must miss me now that I'm away at the army. I want to spend more time with him and give him love and support. This was the loving nature of this beautiful soldier. He was a giver. He was like Aaron the high priest. But sometimes, tragically, in a world of evil, in order to create peace, we need to show strength. And only through the strength do we create the everlasting peace. Have a wonderful day.